Hello everyone, we are coming at you live from the Liminal Pines. Today we are taking a look at my December 2024 to May 2025 sketchbook. And this is a very good sketchbook as always, you know I wouldn't lie to you. But one thing I want you to keep in mind while we are going through this sketchbook tour is how can you learn from my mistakes? I want you to pick out just some of the mistakes that I have made, and I want you to leave a comment. I want you to be very analytical of the sketches that I have. It's essentially part of what this is here for, is to pick out its mistakes and to get better in the future. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and crack open this sketchbook and see what it has to offer. You can see that I have a little sticker that I printed with my logo on it. I think that's very cute, and I've printed out a bunch more. And as you can see here, I just have some more. This isn't a sticker. This is just taped on here. This is a short that I have on my channel currently. But as you can see, it's from December to May 2025. Just another sticker here of a background. Here I was just playing around with some watercolors, and I think I did a really good job doing this little scooter right here. Here is just a lot of volume, drawing a lot of faces and figures and skulls, and I'm really just playing around with large black shapes, really trying to get graphic when I'm drawing characters. Here we have just a little quote from Hayao Miyazaki, kind of about this is like philosophy right here. I just thought that was a really nice quote, so I decided to put it there. But if you can see right here, I was in the Miyazaki mindset because I was talking about where I was watching Princess Mononoke at the time, and I have the Princess Mononoke art book, and so I was just like picking out little bits and pieces from there that I thought looked really cool, and I especially really like this one right here. I think that one turned out nicely. This is a self-portrait, and this is sort of, again, just playing around with silhouetting. This is a frame from Blade Runner 2049. And we have just a lot more volume, as you can tell. Some of these are screenshots from Cyberpunk 2077. Same thing with this right here. I was playing Cyberpunk at the time, and I took a lot of screenshots when I was playing the game, so I did a lot of little composition studies from those screenshots, and I think they turned out very nice here. Especially, I like this one right here with the little ceiling fan. Here, I'm just experimenting again with having just these black shapes in order to show form, maybe not going too much into detail, sort of doing a lot of insinuation. Here we have more cyberpunk. Here we just have some more portraiture. Here we're getting very gestural. I think for these I was using my Fude tipped pen, and I was really just trying to get very gestural. Some more here. I think he has a lot of whimsy about him. Here's a page where I think I was just using my regular fountain pen, fine tipped fountain pen, and I think these are all just gesture studies. I'm very, very certain, because I didn't have any pencil underlying sketch, so these are all very freehand. I was really just kind of trying to go not as fast as possible, but I was really trying to get into a flow there. Just some more portraits. I do like this one right here. I think I did a really good job with this one. I think I found some bugs, some photographs of bugs, and so I was just drawing those here. I thought those were very silly. And here's a very fun pose. I think it's fun how because the hand is closer to the frame, the rest gets sort of shrunken and foreshortened. Some more portraits. I'm not a fan of all of them. I do like this one right here, but that's about it, I would say. This is from Blade Runner, obviously. That's Ryan Gosling right there. Here we have some more composition studies from Akira Kurosawa film Yojimbo. Terrence Malick's Tree of Life. Wide-On, can't remember the director, I'm sorry. All three very fantastic films. Here's a frame from the manga Vagabond. This was kind of hard to do because you have a mixture of like very thick brush pen hair, but then you have the light, delicate hatching of the face. It's a very stark contrast. Here we have just some more portraits. I quite like this one right here. I think this one reads as very moody, so I'm very happy with that one in particular. Here I was just messing around, drawing my bookshelf that I have in my room here. I was trying to do this 4-point perspective thing, almost as if it's like bulging out at you. I was really just looking for something to draw at the time. Some more portraits. I think just like I have days where I'm like really good at drawing people, and then there are days where I cannot draw people whatsoever. And I think this is one of those days where it's just like I could not figure out how to draw people. But, practice through volume. More portraits. This looks like a JoJo's character. This looks like a Joestar. It's not. Here, I did this on a stream. This is a panel from Vagabond, and I think it took me around like 3 hours to do from start to finish, and I'm really happy with it. It was very difficult, and you sort of like, I had to pick up on a lot of little nuances that, it does with his paneling, and with his specifically like action lines, using hatching to show action, and I really like how this one turned out. Here we have just some watercolor, and some of these are photos. Some of this is like, I think this is from The Last of Us Part 2 art book. And then here we have just a watercolor versus gouache. I was just kind of see how both of them reacted in this sketchbook. You can tell gouache has more vibrance and opaqueness, and with watercolor, it's very light and transparent, inherent to the mediums. Some more portraiture. I quite enjoy this one and this one. For this one, just because using just a mid-tone in order to sculpt out the hair, I thought was very fun. And for this one right here, again, just using those dark black shapes, feels like it just says a whole lot more than just copious amounts of detail. Here's just a gouache painting of a photograph I took, and a gouache. It's like a waist-up portrait of this gentleman with this, I don't know what you call this thing. You see it in Shakespeare plays, like a ruffled collar, probably. Here we have more composition studies, this time from The Last of Us Part 2 art book. Again, a very, very fantastic art book. I recommend you check it out. Here, just messing around with a colored pencil. I like this right here. I think the pose on this one is good. And I think the poses on all of them are good, except for this one, the proportions are a little off. Here's a character. If you're not familiar with the game, these cultists on this island in the game are called Seraphites, and this is one of the Seraphites from The Last of Us Part 2. And here again, because I was so deeply entrenched in The Last of Us Part 2 at the time when I was doing these pages, we have more composition studies from the game. These are called, whenever you have just a black, white, and maybe a mid-tone, they're called no-tan composition studies, so it's limiting your value range in order really to just pick out those massive shapes. Here we have just some drawing people, because I do that a lot. I think this one is fun. It's pretty expressive. The rest, not perfect. I like the angle on this one right here, because you don't typically draw a lot of people from like facing behind them, so that's a fun little challenge to do every now and again. Here we have some Kim Jung-gi character portrait studies. Kim Jung-gi, fantastic artist, with his expressive lines, and he drew everything from memory, so it's just something very fun to study. And of course, I wasn't working from memory, I was working from reference, but it's very interesting to try and pick out exactly how he lays down his lines, their thicknesses, and just the way they curve, how he emphasizes form and gesture. Definitely a lot to learn here. And right here is just some little thumbnail sketches of a commission piece that I did. I'm not going to show you the full commission piece, but this is more or less what it looked like. Just imagine it on a larger scale. Here, just drawing some scenery. I do like drawing houses. I like drawing nature and woods and sort of the intersection of the two. I think this is fun, how he's like almost floating, and I like the shapes of this lady right here because she's very flat on top and she's got this little arch shape. Here we have just drawing more nature, like this one right here, just because it's all silhouetted, and I enjoy doing this thing right here where you don't explicitly draw the panel. Like I went in with a pencil outline and then I sort of erased it afterwards, but you're able to see the corners, so your mind can infer those lines that border it. Some more people and places, drawing expressions and such. I like this guy right here. I think I did good on the shading. It's very satisfying to me. This is of a character from a video game called Disco Elysium. His name is Kim Kitsuragi. He's like your police partner throughout the entire game. Probably one of the one of the best NPC side characters, sort of like partner characters that you can get in a game, because no matter what crazy things you say, he is just always there to be like, "Yep, I get you. I understand. Let's just keep on moving." And so he's sort of like that grounding of reality. And so I had to memorialize him here in the sketchbook. The drawings from here out, I think they mostly become very sparse because I was dealing with a wrist injury at the time, so I wasn't able to do the volume that I wanted to do, so I had to limit myself in a lot of ways. But you can see here that I'm trying to focus on perspective and texture and just, getting all the overall shapes right. Here we have some more composition studies from The Shining, from Lion, Sinister. Very fun movies. I think I did those on stream. Here we're messing around again with doing full body portraits from unusual angles, might I add, very unusual poses as well, because I really want to get that gestural part of drawing down, so I'm really trying to get on my comfort zone by drawing these weird different angles. Same thing with this right here. Even though this is a gestural, this is just of a location, a backdrop. I was trying to challenge myself with the perspective. And I'm not really sure like what this page is supposed to be. This is like, I don't know, I was rotating a cube, sort of like showing the way that it moves through space. This is just me sketching out a little scene. Here is, I believe this is another screenshot from Cyberpunk 2077. I didn't label it, though. Here's just a little storyboard for like comic ideas. And here's just, again, I'm just like trying to like draw locations because I just really like to draw locations. This one right here, I did not get the time to erase the border here because I think I was planning on doing some hatching for the sky behind it, but then I decided not to, and I sort of just gave up on it. Some more portraits. These are specifically using the Loomis method, and I did this on stream, so you can go and check that out. Nearing the end here, we have just some more miscellaneous sketches. This is a very, when I say sketchbook, this sketchbook has definitely been a very sketchy sketchbook. Essentially, towards the later half, it sort of just devolves into this directionless place where I've just kind of been drawing whatever I feel like at the time. Something that I'm trying to remedy with my next sketchbook is something I've looked at while looking through the sketchbook right here. I sort of decided that I need to have a bit more direction with the next sketchbook, so I'm definitely learning from myself here. We get to the final page, which is just a portrait of myself. Those who have been following the channel know that I do a portrait of myself at the end of each of my sketchbooks as a sort of a snapshot into how I was looking at the time, physically looking. This is how I was looking at the time of finishing this right here around the middle of May. And I think I'm getting better at drawing myself. I used to not really be good at drawing myself. I think the more that I just draw myself, the more I'm able to sort of pick out my distinctive facial features. And so I'm getting more accurate. So this is like a photograph. So yeah, and then at the back of the sketchbook here, I have a couple of things that I've picked up along the way. The first being this comic right here, a friend gifted to me. It's 20XX or 2000XX. It's supposed to be like a year. It's a comic about people with psychic powers, and there's like a sickness, some gnarly stuff. Not my favorite read of all time. I found it to be very exposition heavy, especially in the form of text. I found the paneling to be very monotonous. It's very repetitive and not to a decent effect, might I add. But I also found the sort of poses that the characters are drawn in to be quite flat. This artist does this thing where they draw characters in profile, and there's really not a lot of depth cues happening right here, so it really does just make the scene feel very flat. And I hate to be a critic, but there's definitely a lot that I learned from reading this here, and mainly in just like how not to panel, how not to write, and how not to block scenes. I do think it's cool that it's in black and white. We'll give it a point there. We also have, these are little thumbnail cards that I made with different aspect ratios. This is widescreen, it's like 2.39 to 1, and here's 16 by 9 standard definition. And so I can sort of put these down and draw a quick border whenever I need to. So I can draw like consistent thumbnail borders whenever I want very quickly. So these come in very handy. And then we have just a larger version, which you'll see this used quite often earlier in the sketchbook. Like I used it to draw out these right here. And I'm using this in my current sketchbook as well, just because it is so useful. I do have a video on how to make these on my channel. The audio quality isn't the best. I plan on remaking that video at some point, just because I'm unsatisfied with it. But along with that video, I'll probably make more of these, so you'll get to see the process from beginning to end. And then finally, right here, we have this little photograph that I bought at a little thrift store. And it's a picture, I'm assuming a soldier on duty. I don't know where, I don't know when, but they took looking outside of their tent. And I was just so taken aback by finding this photograph right here, because normally it's either just like portraits of people or it's just pictures of like buildings. But this one I found to be very interesting because of its just stark framing and its composition. They probably weren't intending it to look like this. I mean, they were just in their tent and decided to take a picture, but I really find the framing that the darkened sides of the tent provide to the outside scene. And so I took that and I was like, wow. So it's gonna forever stay in this sketchbook. So whenever I open up this sketchbook, and however long, in a few years, a few months, it could be 10 years from now, I'll be able to look at this picture again. And so yeah, that was the sketchbook. I learned a lot on what to and what not to do, and I am taking all of that and hopefully making a better sketchbook next go around. This isn't my favorite sketchbook that I have ever done, but everything is a learning experience. Specifically with this right here, I learned that I don't really care for Moleskin's watercolor paper. This is a Moleskin watercolor sketchbook. I don't care for the size of the sketchbook. It's too big for me. It's hard to take places, and I just didn't care for the paper because I'm doing a lot of pen and ink art. The texture makes it very hard to get non-textured lines. I wanted smoother lines, but I really wasn't able to get that. Though it was able to hold ink washes very well, and watercolor and gouache. It held up very well in that regard, but just for my uses specifically, the sketchbook didn't really do it for me. So I am moving away from the Moleskin watercolor sketchbooks, but I'm not writing off their normal art sketchbooks for now, because I do like those. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you learned a lot. Please, if you like my art, or you like the way that I talk, or you like the style of my content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because there's going to be more videos like this, and I have a pretty decent backlog of other art-related videos, live streams, etc. But also, stick around for potential video essays that I might be writing and releasing. I already have 2 on my channel right now, so I'm going to be posting more of those, obviously. And for those of you who have made it to the end of this video and are probably more inclined to care about what it is that I'm trying to do, I'm really trying to strike a decent balance between doing art-related videos, the fundamental physical action of doing art, but also examining the art from other pieces of media that I enjoy. So you'll see that manifest in the form of video essays to YouTube shorts that are doing reviews of comics or books or films or just really anything that I am digging my teeth into. I am wanting to celebrate art in all of its forms because I am an artist, and I am taking from all of these stories that have existed for forever and I'm putting that into my own creative workflow. So stick around for all of that. I'm not really good at editing videos, so we're just gonna go ahead and